Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
College football playoff rankings are out ahead of our final coaches show of the season tonight. That's right, with basketball going on next week, the Thanksgiving holiday, this will be our final regular season coaches show coming your way this evening. Dan Lanning and Kenyon Sadiq will be with us starting at 7 o'clock across the Oregon football social media channels and the Oregon Sports Network. Looking forward to our final coaches show this evening. Those aforementioned college football playoff rankings, the Ducks are in at number 7. 2 weeks remaining in the regular season. The Ducks are 9-1, 6-1 in Big Ten play, and they will square off with now number 15 USC, 8-2, 6-1 in Big Ten play at 12:30 in Autzen Stadium on CBS. Oregon, one of 3 Big Ten teams in the CFP top 10, along with number 1 Ohio State, number 2 Indiana, and the Ducks are one of 6 in the top 25. Joining them there, number 15 USC, number 18 Michigan, and number 21 Illinois. The Ducks have now made 14 consecutive appearances in the CFP top 10, dating back to 2023, 27 straight appearances in the CFP top 25, dating back to 2020. Ducks are one of the most balanced teams in the country. One of just 3 teams that are top 15 in scoring offense, scoring defense, and total defense. Oregon owns the nation's top passing defense at 127.3 yards allowed per game. Ducks are 8th in rushing offense, but a tough test against USC. Number 7 versus number 15 in the marquee matchup of the weekend. Not just here at Oregon, but nationally. Oregon-USC. Tied for number 6 in the Associated Press poll, and the Ducks are number 5 in the coaches poll. Yet they sit at 7 in those CFP rankings. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Georgia, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Alabama, your top 10 in the college football playoff rankings released last night. Something that Coach Lanning, I don't think, cares about. We may discuss that subject tonight on the Coaches Show, but he also met with the media after practice today. We'll have that for you to kick off today's show. Dusty Harrah is going to join us as well. Theren Johnson, Noah Whittington, Bryce Betcher, Brandon Finney, and then Dante Moore and Emmanuel Pregnon, all on the docket today. Let's hear from Coach Lanning. Upstairs, after practice in the Hatfield Dowland Complex, head coach Dan Lanning, brought to you by the White Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Coach Lanning getting ready for a home game.
All right, good day of prep. You guys got some good work. There's certainly some things that USC does that's difficult on third down and red area that we had to prepare for today, but some good progress so far this week.
I get your thoughts just on Emmanuel's growth since he's gotten here, and especially in the run game. He and Poncho working together seem like that's been a really dynamic duo for you guys.
Yeah, Emmanuel's done an unbelievable job for us. Been a really good teammate. He brings a level of intensity every single day to practice. Obviously can move bodies. I think he's done really good in running and pass game for us this year.
With it being senior day, could you maybe just expand a little bit on just the development your program has had for guys like Bryce and also Noah, and just how much better every year they've gotten and your appreciation of them?
Yeah, I'm forever grateful for those guys for what they've contributed, and to think this could be the last time they get to play on this field. I probably haven't hit it enough, this week for what those guys mean to us and the work that they've put in. I know that we talk about player-led team. It's really driven by those guys, right, and their focus and really the intensity that they bring and the standard that they hold our program to. So really grateful for every one of those guys.
Kind of challenges is the fact that Mekhi Lemon plays out of the slot so much, present your defense and trying to get the right matchups there from a personnel perspective.
Yeah, he's a tough matchup. I've spoke on it already how good of a wideout he is, and the fact that they move him around certainly makes it a challenge. It's hard. You've seen some teams try to match up to him, and that can be difficult in certain calls. It also can be an indicator at times, right, if you always match up a certain way of what kind of defense you might be playing. So got to be aware of where he's at all times and be able to handle those adjustments.
Coming into the year, just you think about the physical profile of a guy like Amari at 330 pounds, you'd expect him to be playing a lot more nose on the inside, but that's actually gone down this year compared to what it was last year, and a big part of that has been Bear and what he's been able to do as a defender and playing that nose position at only 300 pounds. What is it about him that makes him so effective being a guy who can play the nose? Because Amari, his best trait is his speed, that he can cross face of guards from a 3-tech and do all those things, that it can unlock everything for else the rest of the defense, especially against the run.
The questions about Bear or Amari?
Bear and how he helps.
Ultimately both those guys inside pretty versatile. They give us a lot of tools. They're hard to block. I think one thing that they both possess is the quickness and twitch inside, but then the ability to anchor and runs is really important in our defense and how we do things. You got to be able to strike blocks. Those guys have shown that consistently. Bear certainly improved in that in a big way and continues to be a better and better player each week.
Dan Kirby spoke quite a bit over the last week about physicality, the importance of it there. Obviously, you've instilled a lot of that in the culture here. How much do you echo a lot of that sentiment, but also do you feel that when there were questions about joining the Big Ten and whether this program and the West Coast program is going to be up to the physicality of this league, that you've gone about answering those questions in particular because of the culture that you've gone about instilling?
Yeah, I don't think you can be a good football team and not be physical. And there's just certain things that have to happen at practice, certain things you have to train for it to show up. You're not going to become a good tackling team if you don't tackle at practice. You're not going to be good at blocking if you don't do, full tilt boogie when it comes to blocking and shedding blocks. Like those things have to happen at practice for you to do it. As far as answering questions, we'll just let our play, kind of speak for that. I think we've done a good job in that category.
We've reached that point in the year where there's a lot of outside noise, playoff talk, end of season talk, and now we're starting to see reports of guys from other programs hitting the portal when they haven't even announced anything yet. Your players may want to be here personally, but people in their camp may be trying to poke the bear a little bit. How do you kind of handle that conversation internally and keep the focus on where your feet are at right now?
Yeah, you can't spend too much time on it. You got to worry about the guys that want to be here. Ultimately, you always hope there's a conversation. I'm certain we have a good team. So what's that mean? That means people are probably reaching out to our players. We've been able to retain great players here for a long time. We've done a really good job of that, and I think that starts with guys being open and honest. There's going to be communication, and sometimes it's best for somebody to be somewhere else. But we're trying to do something special here, and it means being focused on where you're at, right now. And the reality is the portal opens in January. It doesn't open now. You got time to evaluate, those options for you, and each person has to evaluate those options for themselves. I love the team we have, love the players. Everybody has a special role here for us. Even if you're not necessarily out there on the field for us every single down, that's part of it, right? But it's also part of what's going on in college football, and the teams that manage that the best and handle that the best are going to be the teams that have been successful. And we've had a lot of success with how we've managed that here in the past. Hopefully, like I said, the one thing you want the opportunity to have conversation with guys before that becomes something you're not aware of.
Mentioned being physical and practicing hard, tackling, doing all that. How do you balance that and also trying to keep guys healthy? And, late in the season, people are getting dinged up, making sure they stay fresh but also stay healthy.
Yeah, you evaluate what kind of drill work you're doing and how you're doing that. Sometimes you can split things into like a half-line drill, do stuff more in indie crossover drills to where there can be a level of contact but maybe not as many bodies on the ground. And then you adapt. You definitely certainly change some things to how you practice at times, especially getting later in the season. Uniquely, some of the injuries we've had this season have had zero contact, right? So contact's part of football. That happens, but some of the times the guys get hurt, that's not necessarily directly impacted by the physicality that's required at practice, and I've found that teams that practice not to get hurt are the teams that get hurt the most a lot of times. So you have to practice at a certain level. Football can be a dangerous sport. There's going to be injuries that exist at times. We have to be able to handle those as they come.
I know a big part of your program is just the verbiage that you use, and every week there's a different theme or a different motto that kind of relates to the opponent. And I think it's really interesting to see, even, all the way back to Penn State, death by 1,000 cuts. You still have players in the Ducks versus them that are saying, that's a cut on the sideline in those videos. Just to have players that are really bought into that verbiage and the theme and really motivated by that. At this point in the season now where you're inching closer to the postseason, how important is that just to have players that are truly bought in and really all in on the messaging, the verbiage, and what role does that play now in this world and age of college football?
Yeah, the word, culture gets thrown around a lot in college football. I think whenever you know that your culture is really taking place and set is when everybody has a unified message. And when you hear some of those, continued messages throughout and really coming from your players more so than your coaches and people that preach that in your program. But our players share that vision. They're pulling in the same direction, and certainly that's great to see.
Another one of those, there's always things going on outside of the games. Recruiting signing day is about a month away. Just how do you feel like your program's at, where you're at in this weekend, the opportunity this presents of final home game day being here, ranked opponent, USC, just what can that do for you guys?
Yeah, recruiting's the lifeblood of our program. And for us here, it's always been about, quality over quantity, about what kind of players do we want to sign, the guys that are going to fit our mold. And then always looking kind of big picture down the road. What's that look like for your team? What's going to be available for your team? Postseason as you're trying to develop that, but we have a staff that's dedicated to that, evaluating that at all times, and always number one for us will be able to be keeping the players that we have on our current roster as well as the additions that we can add in the future. But weekends like this with the distractions, with all the pieces that are going on, that can be huge weekends for you in recruiting. And we've been able to live off of moments like that here in the past, and certainly want to be able to take advantage of it this weekend.
Marcus is just being honored this week, inducted into the Hall of Fame. You guys got the jerseys to honor him. And it seems like Oregon does a really good job of honoring a lot of players and people that are involved in the program. Just what is your idea or your vision, your sense of the impact that Marcus has had on the program, even just not even coaching him, but just being here for the past 4 seasons and just seeing his impact still on the university?
Yeah, Marcus is a guy that we're just so proud of, here, and to see the level that he's been able to play out here and then carry that on to the NFL. I walked up the field last week and I saw, his wife Kiyomi and Sabrina and Horonis. I mean, our players that have played here in the past, they come back and they give so much, and we just want them to know we want them to be a part of what we're doing, and to get the opportunity to honor a guy like Marcus. He's very deserving. Obviously, had an unbelievable career here and then an unbelievable career in the NFL. But we're glad that they want to be a part of what's going on here at Oregon and continue to have a sense of pride in the fact that they got to play here. So really proud of him and happy for him.
Following on the recruiting question, Dan, certainly I think everybody would like to preach a message of quality over quantity, but you guys certainly live it a little bit differently than others. Can you get into, philosophically, how you and Marshall now in year 4, cycle 4 of this, have gone about raising the floor to where you can live that life? You don't have to cast as wide a net as somebody at year 1 or 2 of a program and building things and the like, that you really can embody what you're talking about there.
Yeah, and everything now is different with value base and what guys are, what it costs to get somebody to. And some of the best players that have been in our program are guys that we got at a tremendous value, and they were able to come here. And then when you make an impact at a tremendous value, you're able to be taken care of as well. But that's a factor in this. But for us, it's culture fit, it's skill level. I think we've proven on both sides of the ball that we'll adapt to our personnel too and their strengths and their skill sets. So when you find a good football player that maybe doesn't necessarily fit your scheme, being able to adapt your scheme to fit to those players is really important. But we'll always kind of have our eye out for that guy that's an extremely talented player but an extremely hard worker, has fits the right culture that we're looking for, is going to be able to handle being in an environment like this. And that's a continued process. That's continued evaluation. That's a lot of conversations.
Dan Lanning after practice today. It's a 12:30 kickoff on Saturday when the Ducks host the Trojans of USC. Larger picture now. Zoom out with us. The Jackie Robinson Award. It's pretty special. New award given out by the Big Ten Conference. And it's my pleasure to say that Matthew Bedford from Oregon football and Blesson McMorris from acrobatics and tumbling were announced today as the University of Oregon's 2 campus winners of the 25-26 Jackie Robinson Community and Impact Award. Now in its second year, the honor was created to recognize Big Ten student athletes who go beyond excellence in competition and work to have a positive impact within their teams and communities. From the 36 campus winners throughout the conference, 2 overall conference honorees will be selected and announced in the spring of 2026. Now, Matthew Bedford, I was at practice when Damone Merkerson announced Matthew Bedford as the winner of this award, and it was a hooting and hollering from the Oregon football team when they found out that Matthew Bedford won it here for the University of Oregon. He's been at the forefront of everything the Ducks have done from a community involvement standpoint. He has served in a bunch of different community roles. And he's also been the nominee the last 2 years for the Werfel Trophy, which is college football's premier award for community service. Congratulations to Matthew Bedford. Now, a leader on the acrobatics and tumbling team, Blessed McMorris was one of, I should say, the most recent Ducks take home an individual NCAA national championship, and she's also played an integral role in representing the University of Oregon at the Black Student Athlete Summit in Los Angeles the past 3 years, among many other community engagement endeavors. Congratulations to Matthew Bedford and Blessed McMorris. Outstanding. Honored as the Jackie Robinson Community and Impact Award winners here at the University of Oregon. Timeout, and when we come back, Dusty Harrah is going to join us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs, and for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Duck Insiders presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Yesterday, Dusty Harrah was down from Portland in town to do some interviews for that 10:30 pregame show that'll come your way across the Oregon Sports Network on Saturday. And, of course, we had to say, Dusty, take a seat. And we did that. After some Friday night lights, now getting ready for USC as the Ducks continue the gauntlet that is the month of November. Now, going into the season, I think we all said, all right, November is when it gets real. These are the kind of games that you want to be playing in at this point of the season. He's Dusty Harrah. Will be roaming the Oregon sidelines again, coming off a Minnesota win where honestly, it might have been Oregon's most complete game of the season, Dusty.
I would wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
I think offensively, defensively, special teams, everything's coming together at the right time for this Oregon team. And it's amazing to see how much of that consternation that the fan base had or social media had doubting Oregon's offense. That went away when, I don't know, it's not driving rain and wind like it had been for the two previous games and the 2 previous weeks. The offense was the beacon of efficiency. The defense was stifling. I was really impressed. Complete performance on Friday.
Consternation.
Yeah.
Was that your reconnoiter this week?
Yeah, no. It's reconnoiter is a word that I had to Google when I heard it. Yeah. And
I only knew it because of like World War II documentaries, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, because that's when that word was used.
Right, yeah, no. I mean, Jerry just dropped it one time, and we were all like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, Jerry Jerry has that in his brain though because he served in the Navy.
Right, that's right.
And so reconnoiter, he's probably heard in a conversation.
Yeah.
I had not.
Right.
I have not heard that before.
But consternation, though, another good SAT word by you.
Yeah, thank you. Words that I never use for 500, Alex. That was one of them.
You never? Well,
I never. I rarely use it.
Consternation's a good word, though, because I think that look. It's fair to say that every coach always has a little bit of like unease around how things go, right? And if there isn't a level of nerves, anxiety, like that's just kind of odd. Doesn't every coach feel that?
Every coach does, and the fans feel it too. And fans are anxious because it's short for fanatical.
Right.
And every fan does get a little bit nitpicky. And I think look, when you have a really good team, your fan base gets really nitpicky.
Right.
And that was it's surviving elements in physical games and physical matchups. It's not what anybody wants to see if, like when you are a fan of a team, you're watching them as the escape for everything, right? It's supposed to be joyful, and you want to watch the team have explosive plays down the field. Well, driving rain and wind really puts a hamper on
it. It does. And I look, it's one of those things, like every coach always says something along the lines of, well, both teams deal with it. That's true, and Oregon has won the games where that has been a factor by controlling the line of scrimmage and running the football. Even the quarterback has run the ball in these games a couple times.
And that's the thing, is that if you look at both of those previous matchups with Wisconsin and Iowa where the elements really did play a factor, Oregon wasn't doing it, but their opponent wasn't either.
Right.
And that's kind of where you look at both teams have to play through this. And that's going to be the fun part about this week, where you have a USC team that is explosive. They have big playmakers on both sides of the football, and that makes for a really fun matchup where, as the weather turns, wait 5 minutes and it'll change here in Oregon. Right now it's looking like the elements may allow both of these offenses to operate effectively.
54 degrees and cloudy.
Let's go.
Low of 37.
What a great Oregon November day.
Great Oregon November day. Meaningful games in the month of November. Oregon, USC. Look, this has kind of become a rivalry in the last 15 years, I would say, and now continuing into the Big Ten. Certainly you have Washington, and there's been good games against UCLA. The first ever Pac-12 title game that was played at Autzen Stadium was between Oregon and UCLA. But USC, the Ducks have spoiled some Trojan good seasons. The Trojans have spoiled some good Oregon seasons. So, I also think these two teams just have recruited against each other a lot in the last 15 years or so.
Well, and that's the big thing about this, is that as you go back in the history books, it was a lot of the Oregon players were guys that didn't get the USC offer, and they wanted to prove something. And that there was an edge every time you play at USC. Now you look at it, there are recruiting battles where it's toe-to-toe, and everybody knows it's not a secret. The fertile recruiting grounds on the West Coast are in Southern California. And now it's not the guys who didn't get an offer, it's the guy who got an offer from both, and they chose one side or the other, and there's something to prove. And that's how rivalries start across all of college football. And, this isn't one that I think either SC or Oregon fans would point to and say, that's our rival. But at the same time, it means a little bit. There's a little juice to it.
There's tiers of rivalries, though.
No doubt about it.
Don't we all kind of feel that way? Like, there's that one team that if you really ask someone in a fan base, in your core, who's the rival? But then it's like, oh, well, they're close.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of in that conversation point, particularly in recent memory. And statistically, it's the best passing offense that Oregon has faced this year. The Ducks still, though, and have for the last month nationally, the Ducks still boast the best passing defense in the country. It's been pretty remarkable what Oregon's done against the pass. This is a different kind of test.
It is. It's a completely different kind of test because you have explosive playmakers, plural, on the outside that aren't just big body receivers. Rutgers had a really good passing attack, and I don't want to take anything away from them because they have big body receivers that jump ball is part of their offense. And they are very successful at doing it, and Oregon shut that down, and they played very effectively. USC has the balanced attack where they've got precise route runners. They've got speed. They've got some size. They've got a little bit of everything that they can throw at you. And schematically, Lincoln Riley is one of the best coaches in the passing game in all of college football.
Yep.
And that is a big test. I think one thing that we've seen as the season has gone on, the redshirt freshman in Iffy and the true freshman in Brandon, they've really come along as this season has grown, and everybody else around them has as well. Whether it's the deep ball or the intermediate and the crossers in the passing game, Oregon's pass defense has gotten so much better, and a lot of that has to do with forcing teams to be in passing downs on third down.
Right.
And it's not that balanced. Third and long, you know what's coming. It's going to be through the air. It's not going to be on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, this week alone, Theren Johnson asked, hey, why is this the best passing defense? He's like, well, yeah, up front, but also the ability to play man coverage and stick with receivers in the back end, right? That's the athleticism, the film study to know the routines of a wide receiver that happens on the back end. Then you ask Bryce Betcher, well, it's about communication and it's about the trenches, and you got to stop it up front. The point I'm making is you ask the different position groups, they all have different roles to play in having a pass defense like the Ducks, but I think it comes down to a few things. One, it's preparation, it's talent for sure, but to take that a step further, I think that it really has been the depth of Oregon's defense. The Ducks have had guys in and out. They've rotated the secondary a lot, rotated the defensive front, but I think getting a solid push and forcing those third and longs, to me, that's been a huge, huge key to this past defense.
Yeah, I mean, the ability, and I know that there's consternation about the sack numbers, but look at how quickly it's like Pee-wee's Playhouse, word of the day. It's like, but the opposing offenses are getting the ball out so quickly because of that pass rush.
Right.
Pass rush's effectiveness doesn't have to be sacks. That's a big marker of it, and that's what a lot of people look to. But at the same time, it is how quickly is the quarterback having to get the ball out. And you mentioned depth, and I'm glad you brought up Theren because of the fact that he has been rotating in Naeem Offord, Jaden Kennedy at the nickel. Kingston Lopez, Siona Laulu, Dylan Thieneman, Dalen Austin. Those guys, the depth, and this is what Oregon's defense is built. Depth not just keeps your legs fresh on the pass rush and in the trenches, but they can match size, they can match speed with the variations that they can throw out with the different guys that they put on the field together.
Containing Jaden Maiava now. I mean, certainly you got weapons on the outside, right, for SC, but this is two of the better quarterbacks in the conference, maybe in the country, that are going to square off here with Dante Moore and Jaden Maiava.
No doubt about it. He is UNLV transfer and really coming into his own, and you're starting to see the difference between year one and what year two means in an offense as far as the mastery of concepts and knowing where your guys are going to be, timing and rhythm. It's one of the things that impressed us really early about Dante Moore was, boy, it looked like it was clicking with him, having that ability to sit back last year and just learn the ins and outs, the nuances of the offense, and then you get out and are able to execute it. You've seen that with Jordan Maiava as well, because the quarterbacks are asked to do so much from a processing standpoint that it's really hard. It's a difficult position to play, and it's the most important position in sports because it's not just your physical talents, but your mental acumen as well has got to be elite if you're going to be an elite passer. Both Maiava and Dante Moore have shown they are two of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Well, I wanted to bring this up too. Like, there's so much talk about the Oregon passing defense against this wide receiver core and quarterback play, and the way that USC has been able to run the ball this year too, in addition to this great offense. Like, that seems to be the matchup that everyone's talking about, is that strength on strength, offensive USC versus Oregon's defense. Let's not forget what you said to start this, though, that Dante Moore just set a completion percentage record for a game last week.
Seems good.
Yeah, school record. Broke a guy's record named Marcus Mariota, who is being inducted into the Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame on Friday night. He'll be honored at the USC game on Saturday.
Pretty good player.
He was a pretty good player. And Oregon's wide receiver core was a little banged up last week. But boy, the value of Kenyon Sadiq, the value of the depth that Oregon demonstrated at the wide receiver position. Maybe there should be more conversation about Oregon's offense and what it can do against USC's defense.
No doubt about it. I mean, that is where you have good on good. Then you go down the pecking order of, all right, where's the next advantage? And Oregon's offense we've seen it's had some hiccups, it's had some bumps in the road, but it is how do you weather that storm and adjust and adapt. And I think what we saw with Kenyon Sadiq's return last week and just the level that he played at, and hearing him say, like, having a week off was really good for my body, having that time to just heal up because of the physicality that he does play with, he has gravity to him.
He does.
Like, there's an attraction that defenses are forced to respect. And I look at it, we say gravity mostly in like basketball terms of a guy who has great gravity offensively. And Kenyon Sadiq is like Nikola Jokic, where it's like if you want to put somebody big and stiff on him, well, then guess what? Jokic will pull you out and shoot threes all night. Right. Kenyon Sadiq will split out, and he will go and run routes against a bigger personnel. And then if you want to go, all right, well, we need to go smaller because it'll pull us out to the perimeter, well, then all of a sudden Jokic goes and he puts his back to the basket, and he gets layup after layup after layup. That is what Oregon does. If you want to go small, they will keep Kenyon Sadiq in, and they will run. He has gravity, and he attracts so much attention. It opens things up for a lot of other players. He's a special player, man.
12:30 kickoff, Oregon USC on Saturday. Game day's in town from ESPN. 10:30 our pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network. Meaningful football in the month of November. That's what you love. Dusty Harrah, keys to the game. What do you got?
Run the ball effectively. I mean, that's like the no-brainer of no-brainers.
Thank you, Jorgie.
But outside of that, I really do think that as you start condensing a team down, and we saw against Iowa a week ago, USC's defense gave up 21 in the first half. They didn't give up a single point in the second half. They have adaptability, too, defensively this year. So it'll be as they start condensing down, using the screen game as the extension of your run game and having that versatility to get guys in open space.
Dusty Harrah will be roaming the sidelines coming up on Saturday, Senior Day, at Autzen Stadium.
I love Senior Day, man.
I do too. It's a little bittersweet, but, you know, once a duck, always a duck.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's Dusty Harrah. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Dusty Harrah, sideline reporter, 10:30 pregame, 12:30 we kick things off at Autzen Stadium. I think Dusty's going to be dry this week. Timeout. We're going to come back, talk with some student athletes getting ready for kickoff at Autzen on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, Jan from Toyota with a holiday message. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 1st. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyota-thon, which ends on January 5th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hi, Jan from Toyota with a holiday message. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 1st. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyota-thon, which ends on January 5th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doug Insiders presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. It is game day for Oregon women's basketball on the Palouse. The Ducks are 4-0 and the Cougs are not. They're 0-4. Game day for the Ducks. Chris Clayton will have the call. 3:30, the pregame show begins across the Oregon Sports Network with a 4 o'clock start. And then following that, our Oregon football coaches show tonight at 7 o'clock. And Oregon volleyball is in action at Matthew Knight Arena. It's a 7:30 first serve against USC. Starting out the week against USC tonight at Matthew Knight Arena, Oregon volleyball with a critical one against the Trojans. Meanwhile, getting ready for that football matchup, Theren Johnson, a guy who's seen it in the Big Ten. Some interesting questions for Theren Johnson. A defensive back on the #1 passing defense in the country. Theren Johnson after practice.
Dan was saying last night that this might be one of the better wide receiver groups that he's seen while coaching at Oregon. I guess, why do you think he says that, and what stands out about their talent?
I mean, they catch the ball really well, like contested. They do a good job of getting open, run nice routes. So, I mean, it's a talented group. Yeah, they do a good job all around in all phases, all aspects at receiver. So it's going to be a challenge.
Specifically with Lemon, what kind of a challenge does he present, especially coming out of the slot that's kind of unique where their alpha guy comes from there?
He brings like a certain type of physicality and like run after the catch. Like usually slot guys, kind of softer, don't really want to run after the catch. You know, you get hands on, they kind of just are avoidant of that. But he kind of accepts it, and like he does a good job at contested catches. Even at his stature, his size, he's like 5'11", but they throw him jump balls and stuff like he's 6'3", and he does a good job. He goes up and gets it. So just gotta do a good job, man to man, going up and playing through hands.
You've talked about what makes USC so good, but what makes you guys so good? What is it about this pass defense that allows you to be the top-ranked pass defense in the country?
It's just the combination of, you know, us playing good man-to-man defense in the back end, and then just the rush. The combination of us, you know, latching on the receivers with the rush just makes it hard on QBs out there. So,
on with that, Theren, what is it like being a part of something like this? Like when you're coming here for a reason and a purpose, and when it's being met, when you're doing what you're doing personally and being part of something where a team's in the position it is, and to be part of the #1 secondary in the country, when you have 1 year to do it and you're doing it.
Man, it's refreshing. I mean, you hit it. It's what I came here for. I mean, it's kind of what I was expecting to go down. So, like, for me, it's not really a surprise. Like, I know the work that we've been putting on throughout practice and meetings, like all extra meetings throughout spring ball and stuff. So just knowing all the work that we put in, like, it's just showing up now. Like, it's not a surprise to me. But it's really refreshing, and that's what I came here for.
Where have you seen Brandon's growth over the course of the season, maybe from when you first saw him to where he's at now, where he's being talked about among the best corners in the country?
Physically and athletically, like he's always been making plays and doing stuff like how he's been doing it on Saturdays. Like he's been doing that since he got here in the spring. And just the biggest growth I would say is like mentally, like as a young DB, like for everybody, like it's kind of different. Like getting to college, like somebody might catch a ball on you, and you may not be as used to that at the high school level because you're dominating. So just his mental aspect, like getting over things, like somebody might catch a ball on him and he gets over it. Like last week, somebody called a ball on him, and then 2 plays later, he comes back and makes a play on the exact same route. So just like wiping stuff and like letting stuff go, like I've seen him really grow there.
What's like November football like? It seems like the pressure always mounts, the intensity always goes up a little bit in this month. Just what's this month been like from a football perspective?
I mean, here I would say that like they say that they operate to a standard, and that's pretty true. Like on our end, nothing's really changed from our prep. Like it's all been the same. We've been attacking game 1, like we're gonna attack game 12, and hopefully postseason play. So. Yeah, we just been going at it, and we're about 2 months into going hard.
Traditional senior day is you've been into school 4 or 5 years. What's it like for you, somebody who's only been here a year, to walk out like that? I mean, what's that going to be? Probably different than it would be for some others.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different, but I mean, I built good roots here. Like, got a bunch of friends and stuff. Know a bunch of people on staff. So like, for me, it's really not about like how long I've been here. It's just like everybody here accepted me. They took me in, and I'm a part of the family now. So I'm just gonna go out there and represent Oregon the best I can on senior day.
There was a time probably 20 years ago where USC was probably the most popular program in the country. And I'm curious, for someone your age who's probably not old enough to have memories from like the Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush teams, like what was your perception of USC growing up for like your age range?
Like just a kind of like a finesse, like skill school. Like if you're like a receiver or a DB, you know, that's somewhere you'd want to be, but not necessarily as like hard nosed or like smash mouth as like a Big Ten team. And yeah, but I mean that's years past. They've changed. They've grown, developed into like a true Big Ten team. They can run the ball. You know, they have a good running attack. So. You know, years past is years past.
You certainly faced some tall receivers already this season, but what stands out about Lane in particular?
He's tall and then like athletic. Usually taller receivers, they're not like as athletic and like explosive as him, but with his frame, he can still jump and like he might outjump you. Like if he was 5'11", he still might outjump you. So just really staying on top of him is really important. Making sure that it's not like a 50-50 ball. Making sure we're on top.
Jeremiah has been someone at receiver for Oregon who maybe we hadn't seen a whole lot earlier in the season, but you've seen him, and now everybody's getting to see what he can do. Kind of where have you seen that growth and the confidence maybe from him increasing as time's gone by?
I would say it was the confidence. Like he's always had the talent, but in spring and stuff, I don't feel like he was necessarily as confident. But now confidence is oozing, and you know he's playing ball at highest level I've seen him since I've been here. So I think it's just the confidence and repetition and practice and getting in extra reps and stuff with Dante. So all that'll work in your favor.
Statistically, this is the best passing attack you guys have gone up against this season. What is it that stands out about Mayava that makes it that? We've talked about the receivers specifically because of the matchups, but what is it about this quarterback with those receivers that makes that way?
I would say it's his ability to like extend the plays. He'll scramble around back there, extend the play like 5 extra seconds, and throw a bomb to one of the receivers. So just like staying attached and never like giving up on a play. Like you may have good coverage on the initial route, but after he scrambles out, like you have to stay attached to the receiver. That's a big part of their passing game, and that's how they get a lot of yards, I feel.
Theren Johnson's been reflected, or I should say reviewed often, as he reflects on his game. He's sticky at the tops of routes. I think that's a key against USC here coming up this week. Timeout. When we come back, let's talk with Noah Whittington. Senior Day is going to be a little bittersweet. You're going to like what Noah said about it next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas.
Congratulations on getting your diploma.
You worked so hard and have taught us so much.
We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Senior Day coming up on Saturday as we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. I encourage you to get into your seats a little earlier than maybe you normally do, just to recognize these seniors. You heard Coach Lanning at the top of the show just say what this class has meant to him. Now that he's been through a few seasons, a few recruiting cycles. Guys like Noah Whittington, too, that have been on the team a while, and Bryce Betcher. Let's hear from Noah Whittington. I'm telling you, you're going to love his answer about Senior Day.
I feel like your emotions are going to be like on Saturday, last home game, at least in the regular season, and just your time here at Oregon?
Yeah, it's going to be a real sad day, man, because I'm finna enter a new chapter in my life, and I feel like I haven't really thought much about my time outside of Oregon because I've been here for so long, it's kind of felt like home. So I really don't even know, like, what's to come. Like, it's going to be a sad day, you know. But life go on, you know. Like, it's my time to I'm getting old, so can't stay in college forever, so, yeah.
I wonder if you could reflect on, this is probably the best 4 or 5 game stretch of your careers in terms of production, some highlight runs, and what's kind of it been like being able to enjoy and experience that kind of a hot streak you've been on?
It's been fun. You know, I'm very thankful for the guys that I have on this team that, help create those explosives. You know, our receivers blocking on the perimeter, running behind the best O-line in the country. I feel like, it's a blessing from God to just, put me in the position that I'm in and put me behind those people, because without them, I wouldn't be anything.
What is the feeling like, though? Kind of following with that, we talked obviously about recovering from the injury, but to go out in year 6 with the most production that you've had, to go out on a high note in this way, and with the team success also, but like when it's all coming together this way, because you had a decision to make last offseason too. So when it is all coming together the way you want it to, what is this feeling like every day?
Like I said, just thankful, man, because it could be going the complete opposite way, but I'm thankful that I'm at a program where our coaches, the players, we all on the same page. We work very hard, and we got that mindset that we're gonna really grind. Like, the theme of the week was from the dirt, and I feel like since my injury that I was buried again, and I've just been trying to grow, and yeah.
Talk to me about that long run. Just how did you stay up there?
Emmanuel Pregnon, he's a very large human being. He gave me that extra push that I needed, and yeah, ball security, man. Let's just not talk about it. Let's just not talk about it, please.
What stood out about Jordan and kind of his progress? Because at the beginning of the season, we saw him primarily kind of short yardage goal line, and now he's breaking off 40-yard runs on the weekly basis and really impactful. Kind of where have you seen the progress, and how excited are you about what the future could be for those guys even after you're gone?
I'm very excited for them because they just special. As far as like Jordan, he's very mature for his age. He knows a lot of football. Like, for him to be a freshman and know as much as he knows, and to be able to come in and master the playbook and, master the weight room, he just attacks every day as a vet already. And I feel like the short line goal yardage was just, just to, see what he do. But him breaking off 40-yard runs, that's kind of like a normal thing for him because he does it all the time at practice, So it was just, he earned that role, and he has a very bright future ahead of him. He stay healthy, he keep that mindset that he has, he's going very big places.
The statistical production of your room is up already and surpassed last season's totals, and yet your carries across the board for every guy are minimal, or they're lower from what they were last year. How has like the share carry helped you guys stay fresh? Because a lot of you haven't had a lot of touches yet, but your production's really high.
I mean, I feel like it's not about how much you get the ball, it's about what you do when you get it. And, we just have a room full of explosive playmakers. And, you know, we all go into the game with that mindset. When it's my opportunity, when I get that opportunity to help my team out, that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah.
Even if the playbook is very much the same for the past couple of years, you know, when you guys are running 21, like 10 times more than you were each of the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
literally 10 times more.
Yeah.
Like, how different is that, and how different is that in your room week to week, let alone on the field, when that's just something that you guys are turning to that much more?
Like I said, we have a room full of playmakers, like talent that's awesome, you haven't even seen yet, honestly. Like, we got players in the room that don't really play, but they got a very unique skill set. I just feel like our room can just produce. You know, like, you want to put 21 on the field because, you know, playmakers. You know, it's like, that's just what offense is. Like, you want to get the ball to the players that's gonna make plays.
What do you see from this USC front, particularly when you'd be asked in pass pro? Like, what stands out about these guys and about number 4 in particular on the inside?
You know, they're a good front. They're a great defense. They finesse players. You know, they quick, twitchy. They get off the ball. Yeah, we just, you know, they do a lot of movements. You know, but our O-line, they gonna hold it down. Like, I'm not really worried about that.
Back to just your time here. You say you've been here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to just the development you've gone through as a running back, and you're going to have an opportunity at the next level, and just kind of how this program has helped shape you into this player that you've become?
Yeah, man. I feel like I learned how to play running back here. Like, high school, I really played receiver. I played running back my senior year, my first year at Western Kentucky. I was just getting the ball running. I really didn't understand how to play the position. You know, Coach Locke came my second year. You know, he was teaching me. He taught me, like, my foundation. And, you know, through the years he was here, he helped me grow and grow and grow. But I feel like after I got hurt and not playing for a year, I kind of lost a lot of that. And Coach Samples, you know, he really honed in on, like, recreating me and just helping me perfect my craft again. Like, sitting out for a full year, I feel like, I tell my mom all the time, I feel like I forgot how to play football. So for him to come in such a vulnerable time for me and, you know, put his arm around me and just help me create a routine, help me find my pace back into my runs, helping me realize, you know, where I'm supposed to fit, it was big for me, and I'm very thankful for that. I've had 2 very good running back coaches throughout my career, and I'm blessed to have that.
What can you tell us about Brock and just the confidence that the team has in him when he gets a chance to go out there?
The team has the utmost confidence in Brock because when Brock gets his opportunity, he does what he's supposed to do. And then some, you know, we support Brock. Brock shows up every day, and he competes his butt off. He takes football very serious. You know, he's not a man of many words, but actions speak louder than words. You know, I just try to, you know, get on him a little bit and help him out with, like, from a leadership standpoint. You know, he is the backup quarterback, but I'm like, when you're going with the yellow group, like, you know, I want to hear you. Like, I want to see you. Like, it's not just about throwing the ball or making the right reads. It's about bringing that energy, bringing that leadership, like conducting the offense. But as far as him doing his job, we have the utmost confidence in Brock.
So great. I just want to come back to, how are you able to stay up? Emmanuel Pregnon, Noah Whittington, and one of many seniors celebrated when the Ducks take on USC, coming your way at 12:30 on Saturday. Timeout, game day for Oregon volleyball, and match day for Oregon volleyball. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, like he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son?
I feel like that song's going to hit different for all the seniors on Saturday. Like, if everything goes according to plan and Oregon's up, you imagine seniors look around and they're like, damn. Like, I could see that happening. I've asked people that. Like, is that going to feel a little different? We might have that conversation with some Ducks here moving forward as we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Well, today is Oregon women's basketball road game day. Chris Clayton will have a 3:30 pregame show for you coming up if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. It's also on ESPN Plus when the Ducks take on Washington State. Pac-12 foes meeting on the Palouse in Pullman. ESPN Plus, and of course Chris Clayton will have the call. 3:30 pregame show here from Pullman. Tonight at Matthew Knight Arena. This is a big one. Right now, if the tournament started today, Oregon volleyball is in. You get a win tonight, I feel really good about it. That's all I'm going to say. USC's in town. Oregon volleyball. It's on Big Ten Network. It's on KWVA. 7:30 tonight at Matthew Knight Arena. We will have our Oregon football coaches show starting at 7 o'clock. And I can tell you what we will be watching in the Country Financial studio. And it won't be football. It will be volleyball at Matthew Knight Arena tonight. Coaches show, though, 7 o'clock. We'll see you then.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.